G'day, ZiggyD here with something a little bit different. In this video I'm going to be giving you guys my list of the top 10 best uniques in Path of Exile. With its diamond supporter created uniques and deep itemization system, Path of Exile features some of the most compelling unique items in the action RPG genre. In this video I'll share with you guys my own personal top 10 list of what I think are the best items in the game. This list is 100% subject to my own personal bias, so if your favourite isn't on the list, then well, tough luck. So kicking things off at number 10 is the Searing Touch. With the nerf to Silver Branch, the Searing Touch is now the best leveling item in the game. When used with the Fire Trap skill, it's possible to one-shot almost any mob pack from levels 13 to 50 without really needing to build your character in any specific way. All you need is enough dex to use Fire Trap, and you have easy mode leveling for most of the game. To top it off, Searing Touch is also the best item in the game if you're trying to make any sort of burn damage build, like my Searing Bond Fire Trap Templar, which you can check out in the linked annotation. Number 9. Taryn's Shiver. Another staff in the top 10 uniques is pretty confusing because in general the staff item slot is pretty bad. However, this item is amazing when used in conjunction with certain other items on this list, which I'm not going to spoil just yet. For now, however, suffice to say that thanks to Taryn's Shiver's inherent freeze chance and bonus 20% to damage against frozen enemies, both you and your party will be thankful you are using one on your Freeze Pulsar or your Ice Spear build. Number 8. Facebreaker, Strapped Mitts. Who doesn't love the Facebreakers? So they aren't the most widely useful unique in the game, sure, but they are just so damn fun that I couldn't leave them off this list in good conscience. Facebreakers give you 800 to 1000% increased physical damage whenever you attack without a weapon equipped, giving rise to a series of otherwise unviable unarmed builds. Adding to this, they also give an impressive 60% critical damage modifier and 10% reduced stun threshold to allow you to really beat your enemies into submission. And to top it all off, they come with the extra gore visual modifier, making Facebreakers the true power gamer's item. Number 7. The Bringer of Rain, Crested Helmet. This item, right here, for me, embodies what Path of Exile is all about. It's probably one of the best and coolest designs I've ever seen for a unique or legendary in a long time. Basically, this helmet is incredibly OP, but you cannot wear a chest piece with it. Yep. This means no 6-link and no armor or any other mods on your bare-chested warrior. However, what this helmet does offer you is a potential 7-link with any socketed gems being supported by melee physical damage, faster attacks, and blind. It also gives you extra physical damage, a double life roll, 15% inherent block chance, and a sizable chunk of armor and evasion. As I said, I really think this item captures the spirit of Path of Exile's item design. You get something absolutely incredible, but you have to suffer a big trade-off to do it. This approach to item design, for me, is far more interesting than just making all items minor variations of the same things or giving them more stats than rare items. Number 6. Aegis Aurora, Champion Kite Shield. I had to get at least one shield on this list because I think they're an underloved slot in action RPGs. Thankfully, the Aegis Aurora is also damned good in its own right. This shield is another example of one of those items that really opens up new build ideas. In addition to being fairly good with decent defensive stats and an increased weapon elemental damage, you also get the unique mod Replenishes Energy Shield when you block, which is really cool. Basically, if you want to make a Chaos Inoculation Elemental Cleaver with maxed out block, then this is your item. Max out your block chance as much as possible and have a huge pool of energy shield, and every time an enemy attacks you, they're actually going to be healing you. Pretty fun times. Number 5. Thunderfist, Murder Mitts. These new gloves are flat out best in slot for any non-caster build that uses lightning damage, or even physical damage, or anything that attacks in a reasonable amount of time. Probably any melee build in general. They are brand new to the game, and I actually don't know how these got through item design without any significant drawback. And I just finished talking about the amazing trade-off design that the Bringer of Rain brings to the game as well, so oh well. I guess that these gloves are simply endgame gear, a theory that is supported by the level requirement of 67, which is one of the highest in the game. Just to run through and emphasize how amazing the stats on these gloves are, you get a whopping 1 to 100 added lightning damage, socketed gems supported by level 18 added lightning damage, 10% increased attack speed, and the incredible 100% increased shock stack duration. amazing. The only stat that's really missing off this item is life, but that can easily be made up elsewhere. As I said, I think these gloves are really strong and definitely best in slot for a ton of different builds. Number 4, Shavronne's Wrappings. This chest piece is fairly new to the game still, but since its introduction we've seen a huge rise in the number and viability of low life builds. This is all thanks to that Chaos Damage Does Not Bypass Energy Shield mod, which in effect is better than Chaos Inoculation, the passive keystone, as it also allows you to keep your life pool. This means that people have been able to use this item with a percentage reserved auras on blood magic support gems to achieve safe and permanent low life status. Builds that achieve this can take advantage of a variety of other unique items and passive effects that give huge bonuses to spell damage, magic find, and other stats, especially like run speed and cool things like that. Very powerful item in that right. Number 3, Astramentis. Astramentis is probably the most popular unique amulet in the game now, simply because it allows for much greater build diversity and easier off-class skill use. This amulet features the base Onyx amulet all attribute increase of 10 to 20, with a whopping 80 to 100 all attributes on top of that. This means that it's possible to get up to 120 all attributes on this one item alone. An example of why this is important is that 120 dex is enough to use a maxed out Ethereal Knives gem on a Marauder without picking up any other dexterity or intelligence gear on gear or passives. Pretty awesome stuff. Number 2, Lioneye's Glare. A 6-link Lioneye's Glare with near perfect mod rolls is pretty much endgame for a lot of different bow builds, especially tanky lightning arrow setups, which are pretty much all the rage now and pretty much they have been since closed beta. This bow gives insane physical damage and attack speed with no real drawback, perfect for the physical conversion of lightning arrow. On top of that, you also get 100% accuracy to all attacks without the drawback of never critting like with the Resolute Technique Keystone passive. This means that you can do an almost pure strength physical bow build with plenty of lightning damage and health, hit 100% of the time, and still shock stack from crits. You are hard pressed to find a rare bow that can compete with this one in the endgame. And number 1, pretty much as I'm sure many people expected, is Kaom's Heart. This is one of the most highly sought after items in Path of Exile, especially in hardcore mode. This is because it essentially has 9 perfectly rolled base max life affixes on the one item, which translates to an enormous survivability boost when multiplied by the passive life increases that you pick up on the passives tree. It's easily the single biggest survivability boosting item you can get. Drawbacks are harsh though. It cannot have any other affixes and has 0 sockets. The lack of other affixes isn't a big deal given the amount of life and survivability you get from it, but the lack of sockets means that the only way to get a 6-link item when you're wearing a Kaom's Heart is through a 2-handed weapon like Taryn's Shiver. In fact, Taryn's Shiver is pretty much the best in slot weapon for a variety of ice builds when also using Kaom's Heart. You get your 6-link, a ton of survivability from Kaom's Heart, and an absurd amount of extra damage from Taryn's Shiver for both you and your party. One-handed plus shield or dual-wielding builds are possible with Kaom's Heart, but they lose a lot of potential damage from not having a 6-link item. You really have to plan your build carefully around that. But overall, it's an amazing item and just ridiculously strong. Anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my personal 100% biased top 10 list of uniques in Path of Exile. I'd love to hear what you guys would have put in this list in the comments below. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.